I don't know what you're doing. We strategizing today. Welcome to the network. This that Hollywood Red Show. This that Hollywood Red Show. What you doing? Tune in. Where you going? Tune in.
You're tuned in to the one and only, the Strategized Network. TSN.
Tune in. Fire. You want to hear something crazy? Like, what? Nah, you ain't close to ready. Check this out. Yeah, this your boy Shouty. What my name is, man? I'm on the Hollywood Red Show.
Man, this your player partner 2 Chainz, you feel me? Right now I'm kicking it with Hollywood Red, you feel me?
Sean J, 229 Fleetwood represent Philmont Red. Hollywood Red.
Y'all know what time it is. Your boy Wingo from Jagged Edge. I'm in the building. Y'all know what time it is. When I'm in Florida, I'm chilling with my main homeboy, my real homeboy, my dog. You understand me? Hollywood Red. Please believe it. Hey, let's get ready to bust it down. Bust it down!
Hollywood Red Show's your boy French Montana live in the building. We don't keep it real, we really keep it, do the right thing, get the right thing done to you. You already know what it is, man. Live from New York. I let your boy, you already know what it is, man.
What it is, it's your boy County, chilling with my boy Hollywood Red. Y'all already know what it is. Yeah.
What up? This is the Hollywood Red Show.
You already know. Say what's up to the fellas. Your hosts, Slim Cat, Deacon Weezo,
and Mr. Hollywood.
You know what it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is the Hollywood Red.
We back at it again. It's the Hollywood Red Show Friday nights, 8:45. If you over here in the Central Time, if you anywhere around outside of that, Eastern Florida, shout out to my Florida people. Shout out to Georgia. Anybody else on that Eastern time frame? 9:45 for y'all. You know it's kind of late. But if you ain't at the club, then you need to be right here. Shout out to my fellas. Slim Cat.
Show. You already know. Say what's up to the fellas. Your hosts, Slim Cat, Deacon Weezo, and Mr. Hollywood. You know what it is.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh,
what's going on, fellas?
What's happening, brother?
Yo.
Yes, sir.
We just left another Father's Day weekend. I'm hoping that y'all fellas had a good time, which was able to connect with your kids, because I know that everybody in here is fathers. So I salute everybody. Salute all my fellas. Can't salute enough. Can't give enough empowerment. Because if it was, then us black men would be in a better footstep, in a better step up than what we are right now. So man, like I say, man, flowers to all my fellas, man. KT, what you got? Give me a couple of words. What you got going on, brother?
Oh man, I'm just chilling, man. Ain't too much going on, man. Ain't too much going on over here.
Frank Nitt, what you got, brother? How you doing?
Everything good, man. Can't complain. Living day to day, man. Trying to be better than the last day.
I hear that. Deke, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Oh man, brother, I'm hanging on in there, yes sir. Oh man, brother, I went to the doctor to get my feet looked at, man. You know, I got them. Yes sir, them old big swole nutty professor feet. So yes sir, brother. But they just told me to keep drinking water and eating all my potassium pills up. So yes sir. So just. Man. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna tell you though that don't work because your brother from another down there, old Frank Nitt, he got some toes. He got some toes that the story ain't been told yet.
Oh man! Oh boy, he got the athlete's feet in the fungus.
I was an athlete, homie.
Oh yeah.
That's what them feet look like. But
are they tether feet? I mean, like Nigerian or. They ain't LPA toes.
They crocodilian. That's what they are.
Oh, yes,
sir.
That's the African and brother Frank. Yes, sir. Yeah, that's the Nigerian. God dog. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Yes, sir. Oh man. Yes, sir, man. I had me a chick too, man, Hollywood. She was like different colors. She was light skinned, but her booty was black. So yeah, I'm like, man, she got her booty was the color of sexy chocolate face, but her body was red though. Like I say, man, how your body? You got a mixture body, a oatmeal, got doggone Oreo cookie, ice cream body. I ain't no, but I still, yes sir, yeah. I still licked her like the ice cream. I mean, like nothing. Yeah, I'm a Jehovah's Witness. I don't do that. Yeah. Yes, I don't do all. Yes, I eat veggies now. But yes, sir. But Hollywood, I want to get with everybody with Father's Day. Yes, sir. Father's Day, man, real quick. Brother, I was out protesting for Father's Day for all you men out there. Man, look at here. I was protesting for Father's Day. I wasn't protesting for no migrants or nothing. I was protesting for gifts. I say, boy, look at here. Y'all done forgot all about us on Father's Day. I didn't get no dollar store card. Ain't nobody come over here and tickle my feet. Ain't nobody cook me a breakfast. Yes, sir. I got nothing for Father's Day. It was so ugly and bad. I got text messages at 11:59 before Monday. My daughter said, "Oh, I forgot. Happy Father's Day. You got $10." I said, I can't say what I said, but yes, sir. Yes, I backslid when I did my cussing at her. But y'all ladies, everybody, man, please celebrate these men. Black men, we're falling out, y'all. A lot of the children was at the graveyard seeing their daddy and everything. So we got to stay healthy. And the first thing of health, we need mental health. Ladies, relieve our stress. Let us enjoy life. Every day should be Father's Day. Because, man, we can't afford to just keep going through this here. And with that being said, I hope everybody had a good stepdaddy day. I hope they had a good sugar daddy day. I know they had a good zaddy day. Boy, y'all sister love, I watch YouTube. I see what y'all be doing. But that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother hot seat. Cause yes, sir, you divest. I'm gonna get on y'all. But yeah, man, Hollywood.
So yeah, we clocked into the hot seat already. So let's go ahead and put some respect on my brother's name. Let's go ahead and get it.
You're in the hot seat with Deacon Weezo on the Hollywood Red Show.
Go ahead and eat it up, brother. What in the world just happened? Deke, boy, you need to work on your internet stuff.
Yes, sir. Boy, I go in and out, you see?
It's on you, brother. Go ahead and eat them up, brother.
Brother. Okay. I thought I was done. Oh, my bad, bro. Okay, yes, sir.
What?
No, I'm back. Boy,
brother, you work 10 jobs, and you know doggone well that you can't put 2.5 minutes in clocking in here, brother. You know I need you to go to work. I need you to cook.
Boy. Oh, okay, yes, sir. Oh, man. Okay, y'all ready then? Let's go ahead and get this thing.
We ready for you, brother. Go ahead and cook.
Oh, okay. Man, the deacon back again, Hollywood. Yes, sir. Man, I'm a little upset, man. Like I say, all weekend, I seen everybody holding up signs, man. I know it's a lot going on in the country, but let me get on my protest. I held my sign up for men for Father's Day, y'all. I protest for gifts. Ladies, if you got a man out there who out there watching your kids, man, long as he ain't on that post office with that picture up, long as he ain't yes sir, anything that's freaking deacon, Tyler parenting teaching, babysitting, let that man have a good Father's Day. Yes, sir. I am so sick of y'all not giving us no love. Ladies, if you could promote me when I'm dead in this season, when I kick the can in the bucket, and you got me stale and stiff in that casket, why can't you promote me while I'm alive at Chuck E. Cheese enjoying my Father's Day? Boy, we have an unorthodox Father's Day. Lord have mercy. Bring us something to eat. Cook us something. Y'all mighty quiet on Father's Day, but boy, Mother's Day, they have commercials. The J.C. Penney opened up. I thought they had bankrupt. Everybody got a thing for mama, but boy, when it come to daddy, ain't nobody giving no doggone. So y'all, please show the daddy some love. I know y'all got other daddies. I know you show your sugar daddy some love. You show your daddy some love. Every other daddy that ain't right besides God the Father daddy, you show love to. But show your stepdaddy some love. Yes, sir. And salute all the stepdaddies like my stepdaddy George. All the hardworking men, top of counter. Anybody who work at the Walmart with them stank feet like my brother Frank. Everybody who got them Nigerian toes. Anybody, man, I want to just show love to, brother. Even if your toes biracial. I don't care nothing about that, y'all. We got to show love, y'all. And with that being said, brother, but one thing about Father's Day, I got to say something, Hollywood Red. Don't take me to the touching class to eat, though. Lord have mercy. Boy, look at I seen that building. I ain't know the touching class look worse than the prostitute that stand out on it or just in the guy. Nigga, I said, but I'm going to have to talk to Tyrone. I just had to say that, brother. But we love you, Tyrone. I love you, dang it. You gave me a chance. So, again, brother, I just want to thank all the people for Father's Day. Yes, sir. Salute to all the fellas. Yes. Oh, man. But boy, that touching class, Lord, I ain't know what that building was. I thought it was a junkyard. Yeah, Lord, I'm like, boy, when they knocked the building down, that's A&A junkyard with the cars. I ain't know what, man. I said, oh God, man, what the hell?
Oh my God, we got Deke getting loose already.
Oh, brother, yes, sir, man, brother. In Hollywood, too, be careful too where you eat at, because they closing out a lot of these rodent places. You got some people pushing the whole steam table in the freezer, and then they serving that frostbite food. They spiking the alcohol, putting rubbing alcohol in the gin, all kind of stuff. Right? Yes. So yes, man, do your investigation. Make sure the restaurant take a haze test before you eat anything in it. Yes, sir. Man, yes. Brother, it's getting bad down here.
I know a lot of them clubs. I don't know about the touch, but I know that they be touching them bottles and marrying two bottles together. You know, as a bartender, I used to date a couple of bartenders. They told me that is a big no. You can't take a half-empty Hennessy bottle and then try to put it with another one and then put the top back on and try to sell it. So I don't know, man.
If you get caught doing that, you know, brother, and if you get caught, because a lot of people was getting tipsy, like say that place over in Soda, the Baja Hut, but like a lot of places that with the alcohol that mess you up, do a lot of people really do that though, man? And I know you know, wow, that's crazy.
Yes, that is, brother. That is. You gotta talk to Slim Cat. He's still outside.
Nah, I don't go out no more, man. I don't go out no more, dog. I gave them days up.
Not you, not the boogie man.
Nah, I ain't been out in years, man. I ain't been about long time.
Big Frank, you still hitting some rooftop clubs somewhere, brother?
Nah, man. You know me, I be in the highs, bro.
We 40s now. Well, Slim Cat, he gotta be 39. He gotta be pretty close.
38.
So yeah, you still can step out a little bit without.
Ain't nothing out there, man.
The time you turn 40, brother, you shouldn't be in no clubs no more. Rooftop.
YN is too crazy, man. You might get hurt. I just stay home.
Go to a nice rooftop. I ain't gonna knock that, but I don't.
Ah, man. I don't need to go out. If I go out, I want to do bad stuff. So I don't need to go out.
Deke, Father's Day. Tell me your definition of Father's Day. What's your what Father's Day 2025? What does that look like?
Oh, brother, it's for the migrants. The illegals get more definition and acknowledgement than the black man's Father's Day. Yes, sir. Hector get noticed before a black man get his Father's Day gifts and cars. I'm like, dang, man, you've been free and in the country. But boy, look at they don't even know I'm a daddy unless I'm at child support court. But boy, at least you can be known though to be stood up for. And boy, somebody need to protest for our black man's Father's Day. Cause boy, I swear to God, you don't hear nothing about him being a good daddy till he at West Side Funeral Home in that casket. Yes, I don't know why everything just programmed to make sure when he dead, then when you can talk good about him. But boy, if he a sugar daddy, yes, sir, or a cat daddy, now he gonna be that's be known. Boy, that's a pimp daddy right there. But when he a real daddy with them stank feet, and yes, sir, with them biracial toes, no, you won't never hear about that.
Oh my God.
Yes, sir, brother. See, I think they have took the definition of goodness and normalcy out of our community. We don't look at it the way how we used to eat at the table like Bill Cosby and family. Think about it. That's why we got power, and these Tyler Perry shows don't make them no better. All he want to do is ease a woman in, a black woman crying, and then a sweet and sassy son. And I'm just looking at him crazy now too, man. Yes, sir, man. So yeah, we got to change masculinity is needed on Father's Day. Yes, sir, because it's sad that Nas X get more promotion than the man that's working at the city of Bradenton. Boy, Hollywood Red, yes, sir. Ryan had to promote himself at the whole, and I said, boy, they need to do more picture taking than working at that city. God dang it. He had the shovel poster. He had Hollywood Red with the comeback and towel on the back of the truck. I said, boy, this Negro play, boy, that phone snapping and japping, God dog, at that ugly Metro. But
that was him and KT. That was Batman and Robin. That's how they used to roll. Ain't that right,
real,
KT?
Man?
Oh, yeah.
Man, did they get in trouble?
No, he didn't get in trouble. That was the work etiquette. I had to learn from them. I came in there a hard worker, and I came out of there. I came out there lazy, trying to work with them.
Man, and boy, Ryan, he had the phone. That man made everybody notice the city. Every picture he took, I mean, they were good pictures too. Yeah,
you gotta look at KT. KT, that's when KT had all the brand new phones. Every phone, he would miss work to go get the new phone. Like Jits used to miss school to go get the J's. That's what he would do. He called in to work sick. But he might not even call in. We had to call him. KT, where you at, brother? We knew what was going on. The new Samsung phone came out.
I used to miss work to play Madden.
Yes,
you heard him now, right?
Yes, sir.
The statute of limitation is over with because we both got fired already by now. So listen to listen to the kettle called the pot black. Boy, I tell you.
But see, Hollywood could wear the outfit. He could wear his uniform. Like, he could wear them pants 3 days in a row and then don't have to watch them to fight.
That's what he did. That man come to work with a lunchbox, eating Ruffles, talking about protein, eating Ruffles, talking about this is protein. Bro.
Oh, see there? I bet the crease was still in it and the Febreze smell, probably. Yes, sir. Now Warner better change clothes and
hey, we don't start putting names in there, Weezo.
No.
Start putting names in there now. I already see you getting stirred up over there.
No. I was reading the sign on the TV. Yeah, my bad about the immigration. Yeah, so they old Julio. Yeah, he had the WWE thing watching wrestling. Yeah. But Hollywood, you did your thing at the city of Bradenton now. Hollywood was the only man. Yeah,
I did my time. I did my time like a prisoner that's in jail. I knew I had an entry date and an exit date. That's what it was about. Then I ran into the KTs that taught me how to cheat the system.
Yes,
sir.
Hollywood should have been
yes, sir.
Commissioner by now. He was one of the best workers ever.
Oh man. Hey, but hey, at least Hollywood didn't get off the job, brother, and stand at the stove, man. Yes, sir, the country store or Richard's Chicken, you know. Yes, sir. You know you gotta go to your part-time job.
I ain't gonna front. I had a cheat code. I had some family influence that helped me out. Won't even deny it. But that only get you so far. Yeah, once you get in there with the haters, you know, the KTs and the Ryans, you get around them, boy. Ooh, whoa, boy, you get in trouble, boy.
This dude let Mitch run him at the street department. He let Mitch run him at the street department to the
Here you go again, putting out names. I thought we wouldn't put names out. Now if they come, they coming after you because I ain't say no names now.
It's Mitch. It's white boy. I'm talking about the white boy named Mitch. My bad. But yeah, whatever. Go ahead, man. I'm done.
I told you, boy, you start stirring the pot, boy. All kind of things start coming up, right boy.
Now, bad, man. Yeah, yeah. Hey, also too, salute to Kane too, man, brother, at J3 with the video. Cause Hollywood, I finally seen it. Remember we hollered, you hollered at us about that though, man. Yes, thank you, Hollywood, man, for letting me finally see it. I found that on that YouTube, man.
What you talking about, bro?
The Kane video, Kane, and 2 pistols, 2 chains or whatever.
Timer just done ran out. Yeah, you talking about the mixtape, or you talking about the mixtape? Yeah, I ain't trying to fluff up no old dirt. Yeah, that was a classic for me. Yeah, I had both of them boys on that mixtape. But shout out to Kane Cartel. That's definitely my dog. And this has been another hot seat.
Yes, sir. You know it's a hot seat, brother. So we're gonna keep the controversy.
You're in the hot seat with Deacon Weasel on the Hollywood Hwrs Show.
You're tuned in to the one and only, the Strategize Network, TSN.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we back. And now we going into KT. Well,
What's up?
Are we ready for the main thing?
Yeah, you got no choice.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're definitely right about that, brother.
Let's get into it, man.
Let's go ahead and get into it. And I believe your topic's gonna have some legs on it. I don't know exactly where it's gonna lead to, but I know that it needs to be talked about because we live in a big world out here. Anyway, I don't want to sit there and take over.
Back up, man. I got it, man.
I don't want to take over your situation, but I've entitled your segment World War III.
Yeah, it's getting close to that, man. What's up with y'all, man? This your boy KT with the main thing, man. And as we get, this past week has been very critical. And as far as worldwide, not even nationwide, worldwide, major events going on. So right now we got Israel and Iran engaged in active military conflict. And right now you got Israel striking Iranian nuclear and military sites, and Iran retaliating. They just throwing a bunch of missiles their way. They ain't hitting much, but they throwing them. And so right now Israel don't want. I guess the world really don't want Iran having these things, these nuclear weapons. So right now, the U.S. is in the middle of a conflict. Should they join, or are they already joined on the low? But the things I want to consider with this, what I'm going to try to get at, how do you guys feel about the U.S. getting involved with this war, and will this do any damage to Trump's legacy? Because he came in the seat talking about he could stop the Russia-Ukraine war in one day. He was the president. They still fighting. And now he's talking about he want to get involved with this. He made a deal with Iran. Biden made the deal, but he pushed it through. And Iran was supposed to agree not to make no nuclear weapons. So I'm really the main thing I'm trying to get at, should we get involved with this, and how would this tarnish Trump's legacy, or it won't have nothing, it won't do anything to his legacy? So I'm trying to see where you guys' aspects come from, especially you, Weasel, because you're a Trump supporter. So you must be ready to strap your boots on to go to war.
Oh my goodness. So then tell me this: are we fishing? Are we fishing like we was doing with Saddam Hussein when Bush said, he got WMDs? Oh, it's weapons of mass destruction over there. We found out, even though I don't truly believe that. I believe every country got some type of big gun, some type of neutralizing factor that's sitting there ready to go. You be dumb not to. That's like somebody coming to my house and not thinking that I ain't got no pistol there. In Jesus' name, I'm gonna blow your head off if you come in my window instead of coming in my front door. Like that's just because it look pretty there don't mean that there ain't nothing that's gonna go sideways. So it's a lot at stake. You talking about an entire country. I don't care if that country got 200 or 2 million. They gonna have something to protect themselves. They got to.
Exactly. And
so
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. So that's the point I'm posing, is that I'm not mad with people having that. I do know from my limited understanding, I've you know that and I lost my train of thought of the right word or the acronyms where all the nations come together. I think, what is that, NATO? Or where you have to have, where you go.
The European United States. You might be talking about the UN, United Nations.
UN, there we go. Where everybody that's a part of that has to abide to the criteria, which allows the investigators to come to your country and or your nation and look to see if you are what you say you are.
That's right.
And so as long as it's just like playing basketball, it's just like OKC versus the Pacers right now. There's got to be a centralized institution that keeps boundaries, that keeps rules. Otherwise, ain't no point. It's just go at it. I don't understand war and doing war the right way. What does that mean?
There's no such thing.
I've even seen UFC guys that'll tell you he'll poke you in the eye, because he trying to win. We fighting now. So anyway, that's where I was going with that.
Hey, you ain't trying to win if you ain't cheating. Before I pass it on to Frank and Weasel, you know, it could be some very severe consequences if this thing does jump forward, because Russia and China already claimed if we step into this, they got Iran back. So I don't know if there's some antics or some seriousness in it, but I think Russia ready to go to war with us. They ready. They just ready for somebody to jump stupid. They ready to do whatever they got. They got about 100 more nuclear warheads than us. But how many do you really need to change the whole world? Probably 5 to destroy the whole world. You know what I mean?
I just saw an infographic that was just speaking specifically about the amount of jets, the amount of fighter jets that each country has, and even those metrics, to me, I would never believe it.
That's crazy.
I think those things are just propaganda, because ain't no way in the world I'm going to tell you how many guns I got in my house. Why would I want you to know that? You just need to know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just I ain't got no guns. I ain't got nothing. If that's an open conversation, I'm gonna gas you up. I'm gonna make you think ain't nothing there. I'm gonna make you think I'm the turtle and you the hare. You gonna move faster than me until you come around here. And then now I know that you really want to come test it out. So I don't even understand the point of that. I don't understand unless you're doing it as a bravado, where you're trying to do like how the way like Hitler did. Like we need to do this just to galvanize our own country, not to gas up or disturb the mindset, sentiment of what sentiment may not be the right word, but our representation on a global level. Yeah, you want to look strong. That's what it's about. That's why Muhammad Ali is telling you all this talk. He rapping it. Yeah, but you need to show up too now. You ain't just talking it. So I don't know in this day and age if it's really smart to do all that capping, all that talking, or it don't make sense.
That's facts. Yeah. So I'm gonna throw it to my boy Frank. So Frank, I want to ask you: do you think this war we should get involved, and do you think this will have any effects on Trump's legacy? Frank might be gone. We'll pass that to you, Weezo.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, somebody he was outside, brother. We hear you now.
90 calories,
Oh,
2.6 carbs.
y'all
The only vitamin from life because
Yes,
it's
sir.
worthy of being
Yeah, we hear you, brother.
Oh, I say I don't think we should get involved, but I believe we are, because correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Israel part of the treaty that we got for those countries that America, if they don't develop a nuclear program, that America they'll fall under America's arm?
You're absolutely right.
So,
You're right
so
about
if that's
that.
the case, and Iran hitting them with the missiles or the nuclears or whatever, then America has an obligation to jump in. That's why we send them so much money. That's why we send them so much money every year. You know what I'm saying? They definitely are a little brother. You know, when it comes to that, and Trump knows that.
Big brother.
Big facts.
They the little brother, because they can't mess with us. But Trump know that, and that's the reason why he can't really stand on his own words, like you said, KT, about I end this war, He ain't gonna be able to not back out, and that's scary. Because like you just said, I ain't even know Russia. I knew China was talking that, but I ain't know Russia was also getting into that talk. So I got 2 nephews in the Navy, man, and that's gonna be scary, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
So to answer the question, no, I don't want us to get into it, but it's just too much. Especially, like I say, if they start throwing them nukes at Israel, United States has an obligation.
They
and
jump
then
in, no matter what.
We all know the high
World War III.
powers, war, it brings money to their pockets.
That's a fact. And do you think this will have any? If we do jump in this war, does this hurt Trump at all, or is this something you expect them to do?
Absolutely, hurt Trump.
Yeah, because and let me second on what Frank is saying. We are still a country, no matter how flawed we are with whatever religion that we subscribe to. As far as we're still on the dollar, it's in God we trust. So my point of saying that is that Trump, my reason of voting for Trump was because some of my spiritual values were validated by what I believed that he was going to usher in. If you ever know anything about the United States, we have always protected Israel. That ain't gonna change. Look back, so in the part of that is because I believe, because we out loud, we are a Bible in Christ fearing nation. So in the Bible, it is speaking of protect Israel. So for the good and bad, even though Trump can be looked at as a womanizer and all that, at the same token, I still believe that somebody of his stature can still execute God's plan, even if he ain't doing it directly. It could be indirectly. And so, because God is just strong like that, his will is still going to come to pass. So even with the nuance of somebody like Trump that on the outside can say he's trying to appease to the Bible believers, overall that is really what it boils down to me when it comes to the religious side of it. Most of the people that I think are dealing with it on the religious side are looking at America has always said they're standing by Israel. So that's my point. Back to you, Frank.
No, I was done. You know, like I say, I just feel that we shouldn't get in this war, but like I was saying, we are if it gets that deep. I think if it stays like this, you know, just taking shots at each other, we may be able to find a resolution between the two. But if it goes any deeper, they're gonna force our hand.
Well, you know, the one thing I'm concerned with is the sleeper cells we have in the sleeper cells who came through the border these last 4 years already here plotting on attacks. So those be the things I'm more concerned about, what could hurt us in the homeland, you know, because Iran just, you know, this just ain't gonna go away. You know, Israel came out today and said they already set Iran back 2 to 3 years with the bombing they done already. But it was a clip. It was a clip going on Twitter, and this what's the president? What's the guy named? I can't say the dude.
You talking about Netanyahu?
Yeah, this guy since 1995, they got 8 videos of him saying Iran is a few weeks, a few months away from having a nuclear warhead. He's been saying this since 1996. And me personally, I think everybody should have it. That way, everybody can, everybody should have it. But I feel like everybody needs it to keep everything level, to stop that bullying going on. Iran is, they need to do what they need to do, man. I think us as a country, we got so much problems going on in the U.S. We still have race issues. We still have homeless issues. The money's not adding up in this country right now, so we can't keep trying to be save the world when we can't even save our own nation. So at some point, we got to start investing and building these roads up and all this, man. Israel want to get in that war. I know. Like y'all say, they are little brothers. So if it gets to that nuclear aspect, we got to get involved. But if it's just bombing the way, we got to stay. I think we should stay off it. Let them handle that and let them figure it out.
The problem with that though is because we're on a global level. As much as I'd like to just say, yeah, we need to mind our business, everybody's business somewhat is our business too. Because as I was alluding to earlier, there was a metric that came out about how many fighter jets. It just kept it on that. And all of the countries is showing that. I wish that I had it in front of my face, so excuse me for that. But it showed that after China, it showed after Russia, it showed after Egypt, all these other players that's in this game. Right now, we still on books far surpass their military power. So that was where I'm finna go into this, is that what do y'all think as far as military power? Who because you can't be number one without having number one military power, because it's not a sympathy game. It's not about the welfare. Like, oh yeah, we care about America. No, you don't. And we don't care about these other places. We care about how to exploit that relationship in order how to better ourselves. That's the truth. That's the secondary part. Let's have all the guns that we can, and all of the firepower, whichever you look at it as, whether it's the military jets, aircraft carriers, guns, ninjas, sword carriers, gun toters. All of that is all about trying to secure the safety of the country. Look at us. We got the National Guard. That's supposed to just be that was always supposed to be just for national affairs. More times than not, when it's time for a deployment, guess who's going to now? The National Guard. They're not. Yeah. They might as well be called the International Guard now, because they're getting deployed too. Because we've invested so much in stake of how our neighbors are doing. What is our rapport with our neighbors? And I can't deny to say that those things don't matter, because they do. They what is that cliche? Keep your friends close, but keep your enemies what? Closer. This is definitely when it applies, because the enemies have a chance to because a punch only hurts when you don't see it. It hurts. It's still gonna hurt if you see it, but it hurts a lot worse when you don't see it coming. So we do have to keep a focus and conscious of what's going on in world matters. I'm not looking at CNN and news every day, because I'm not in the military or in a position to where that's my first priority. But I still do tap in, because I do want to understand what's at stake. Do I need to be going to Steak and Shake and going getting a burger today because I'm thinking, well, some type of jihad may happen or some type of revolt might happen. I don't know. I need to know that. So that today I might need to keep myself at the house. I might need to do them burgers at home. May not need to go to the mall. May not need to do these extra things. But we're too privileged. So we take those things for granted. And then when a 9/11 happens, then all of a sudden now we're devastated instead of being aware of the climate. Because on every military base, they got flags. And I'm not talking about the American flag. I'm talking about flags of status. It's going to let you know the awareness, the readiness that you need to have of what we're dealing with on a global level. So a lot of military service members, it may miss them because they're not really, unless you've been in the game for a minute, you don't really even think about those details. But there's little small flags, and you even see it when you enter into the military base. It lets you know the readiness of that military installation. And all this really telling you is that, hey, we have these circumstances, these situations that are on the table, and we're ready for it. That's what National Guard and that's what all these things are about protecting our national security. Anyway,
but hold on, before we end the main thing, I want to throw these numbers at you guys on why this situation is serious with this nuclear. So they say to end modern civilization, you only need to use possibly just 3 to 5%. So that's like 300, 400 warheads, and that will effectively end modern civilization. And if you detonate about 400 atomic bombs, it has the potential to wipe out all humanity. So that's just how bad that weapon is if it was in the hold of the wrong people. But it takes years to get the members up with that. But some of these guys only getting one warhead done, 2 to 3 warheads done a year, if that. But Russia got 5,400. United States got 5,200. So we behind Russia on paper by 200. We don't know what we hiding or what they hiding. But on paper, Russia got 200 more nuclear warheads than us. But right there, that's it for the main thing, man. Unless so the main thing is the main thing.
Well, main thing. How do we wrap that up, KT? What is your perspective on?
In my conclusion, if we get involved with this war, Trump is a sellout. Everything. I'm one thing always against Trump. He's a sellout. He said we need to say to get in that office.
Oh my God!
He ain't in the Russia-Ukraine war. His name don't carry that much weight. He thought his name, I could do this, do that. He's still in build a wall. He already backtracking on ice. The man is pillow talking. The man's soft. He's a phony. And that's on the set. God bless.
Oh my God!
Oh my goodness!
That's on the set.
You're dealing with a president that uses privileges. He doing things that's unprecedented.
Yeah, I see that.
As a president. So if he come after somebody for speaking out in the way that you're doing, real blasphemous, Donald, you can come get KT.
KT, baby.
Because I'm gonna put a little bit of respect on your name while you still in office.
Because he's trying to take away Juneteenth. Man, I should have talked about it. He's trying to get rid of Juneteenth.
Well, I can't say that because actually Donald Trump was the one that installed Juneteenth for the federal workers.
He said it yesterday, Hollywood. He said,
well, I'm not. I didn't see. All I am telling you is that I know for a fact, and I can pull it up because I've got close ties and family that worked for the federal government, and Juneteenth was installed because of Donald Trump. He actually installed it last year. So so they were off. They were off work this year.
He mad about it. He said people losing too much money.
So I don't know if he on the fence about it now or not, but I do know for a fact that it is being represented to where government workers are off he's the one who did that. So if he mad about it, he need to blame himself because he's the one that put it into motion.
I swear to God, I watched the news. He say it's too many people off for federal holidays. Juneteenth is not a real holiday. Blah blah blah. The man getting old. You know, he just getting old. But we can move forward.
Well, you know, nobody. No, that's just like a black person trying to champion a white man affairs. It's only so far you're gonna be able to go. If anybody is expecting somebody that don't look like you to champion your issues, you a fool.
That's a fact.
You a fool.
That's a
They can be just like Martin Luther King and stand by you while you're rallying. But if they get a bottle upside their head, it ain't the same as the black person that got it. It's just like, wow, we thank you for coming out here with us. But nonetheless, it's the section of people who really dealing with it that you expect to really put their feelings to the side and go ahead and keep taking that next step. Because I mean, legitimately, we're all still doing that in this round table here. We can identify a lot of things, but beyond talking about it and actually walking it and dealing with it on an everyday basis, it ain't too many people that can really show the receipts. They can do a lot of talking, but show me the receipts on what you saying that you talking about. Does it just sound good? Wartime status. Frank Nitt, myself, we was out there 9/11, 8 months out there deployed, out there pulling up dead bodies, out there seeing out there with guns being pointed at us. This is real talk. This ain't no fabrication. This ain't I ain't trying to sensationalize it. This is real, bro. 16-hour days, 7 days a week, because we wasn't a part of ship's crew. Now, you know, Frank, he was on the same timing as you. You know, he could skip to the Lou My Darling and miss 3/4 of the day because, you know, he just
no it.
You know, I was still the hardest worker in that situation too. So, you know, I mean, hey, it just is what it is.
Hardest worker. Cut the mustard, man.
But in all seriousness, you know, we dealt with some life-altering situations. And we was in the Navy. We wasn't sitting out there on ground with these folks. We was sending the planes to go there. And if you think if you minimize that, then you don't realize the theater in the military, because you got one carrier that's out there that's doing 24-hour operations. 24 hours. There's only so many people that's on that aircraft carrier, that's on the flight deck, that's in the hangar bay. Hangar bay is where they're below the flight deck and they're doing all of the repairs, some of the logistics. Then you got the very top where they got the technology and the radars. Anyway, holistically, throughout that whole aircraft carrier, everybody is working their butts off. I don't care what you doing. And you doing it for an extended period. They don't tell you when you coming back. They're going to give you a guesstimation, brother. So if you thinking it's sweet going in the Navy, Air Force now, that's when you're in a little bit different. They get deployed in Hawaii or some exotic place, and all they do is give out life rafts and bubble gum to the kids and tell them, you know, USA is the best place to be. But in all seriousness, if you're not in the Army or the Marines or the Navy, you, as far as I know, you're not really put into the midst of the fire. You just kind of just, you know, you floating. So for us, bro, we was in it. We was in the trenches. They actually, matter of fact, while we're talking about deployment, if there was a war to happen, we were put in So what we would call where we're docking into different countries. What's the right word I'm trying to say, Frank Nick? When we get off the boat, pull into a port. There we go. When we pull into a port, all that is a whole nother story in itself that I don't even know fully about that whole going into a port and the relationships that we would have to have with these neighboring countries when we come in there, because we need food, we need resources, all those things to keep the carrier stocked so it can continue the mission. Brother, it's a lot that goes into that.
Wow.
And on the outside, you just wouldn't know until you're seeing it. And I can guarantee that I wasn't planning for all of that. I was doing it as a means to an end. Like I needed something to get me to the next step. So I pray for my men and women, personnel men, enlisted officers, all of the people involved in that. If we go to war, and we will, it's coming. It ain't about if, it's just about when. I feel confident that the United States is still the best place to be. We still have the strongest military power. Can we get hit? We've seen that. We're too big. We're like an open wound. So we're gonna get an infection. Something's gonna come in. The 9/11s, all those things, they're bound to happen. But what we do know is that we are militarized. I think that's the right word I want to say. And by that I mean that Slim Cat got him a SK, Frank got him a bazooka, Deacon Weasel got a rocket launcher, and I got a tank. We could literally have those things right now legally.
Mm-hmm.
What other countries you know that citizens are empowered to have those things?
Zero. Maybe Middle East, that's all it is.
The Middle East, yeah.
Middle East, that's about it. But the most of them guys are military.
Them boys shooting AKs at the birthdays and the weddings.
You ain't lying.
Rocket launchers, they got tanks.
Yeah, that's true. But how affluent is that?
So long.
But how affluent living in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. I can't speak for all of the Muslim countries, but in Saudi Arabia, at least in the 80s, they could barely put bread in hummus on their table. They ain't got money for them for those things. So
going through famine.
The chances of, Texas probably got more people with guns than the entire Saudi Arabia put together.
That's probably, yeah. We have a standard guns for sure. We know it's crazy. Go ahead.
But see, when you can say that about Texas, but everybody in Texas don't love the United States. You go over there to the Middle East, they willing to die about their country, their faith, their religion.
That's fact.
So they're gonna be more willing to take out six to 12 people when you have your not to harp on these type of people, but you got your LGBTQ. They ain't trying to pull up no rifle. They ain't trying to die about this country.
I get you on that, but I'm gonna say also on the flip side, living there for 10 years, not every Muslim is an extremist. Not every Arab is an extremist. We broke bread and was invited to not only tables, because many occasions they put out a whole carpet in the middle of the desert, and you come out there and they do what's called a goat grab, and so they invited us in there. It's different for people of a darker skin color, because you'll see blacks that's coming from Africa that have migrated into the Muslim culture of Saudi Arabia specifically. So anyway, I do get what you're saying, but but we can't blanket that and say that covers every dynamic over there, because I have met many of Arabs that did not subscribe to saying, yeah, Allah is what it is. That's why during the time when I was there, that they still got towers that was there that where they would drop you off of those towers and stone you to death if you spoke against the religion. So if they did, they were scared to do it aloud. They would do it behind closed doors.
Yeah, they all on code though.
Yeah, they on code.
Over here in the U.S., you got people burning the flag. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be able to do that over there. Same way, like you were just saying, they can't speak out against Allah because they know the consequences behind it. America has a bunch of laws, a bunch of like you said earlier in your thing. We too soft. We too got to the point where we spoiled. We don't know what we don't know what a struggle is. Nobody knows, not to go to the grocery store and see a building full of food, variety of foods that you can take home. We don't know what it's like to be hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And and put things in perspective, there's only 9 countries with nuclear warheads on paper. So that's the crazy thing. It's only India, Pakistan, us, France, Russia. Canada don't even got a program. Mexico don't got a program. A lot of it. So it's all the big dogs who got this. So eventually one of these big dogs gonna try to down put the U.S. to get that #1 spot. It'll probably be China. If anything, I think China got more power to flip the script to try to get that #1 power. But that's it from the main topic, man. Let's go ahead and get into this Frank Nick.
Yeah, shout out to KT with the main thing. The main thing.
Yes, sir. Chill.
But to close out with that topic for today, man, brother, we do have to prepare ourselves, and we've talked about it in many like I'd say it's tangents about what's our readiness for our homes, how are we prepared for something like this to happen when it comes to how we consume, what we eat, how we make money.
Yeah.
We're not ready especially a black culture. We're not ready. COVID already showed us that.
Yeah.
So when those situations come about, we need to take from these conversations about getting ready. Don't get ready, be ready. Because when that mess hit the fan, it's gonna slang everywhere. And I don't know who getting hit, but I don't like getting hit with the I don't like getting hit at all. So I'm gonna put my block up. I'm ready to get hit, even with my broke finger over here. I'm ready to get hit, but I don't want to get hit. But I know it's coming. So everybody better have their guard up, because there ain't no telling what the new version of a 9/11 look like these days. I see a lot of these movies where they showing these different type of weapons of mass destruction, where it's coming from gas, even though those things are, we've seen those things in wars past, but are we really ready for that? How many people even got a gas mask? You got a gas mask?
No.
What you gonna do if it's gas all in the streets and you need to still need to go get you something to eat? You gonna go out there knowing it's gas in the middle? Even with China was selling air in tanks because the smog level was so bad. You ready for them situations to happen?
That's something. Man, you just gotta ride. Hey, it is what it is when it comes to that. It is what it is, man. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. There's nothing you can do about it. Just pray.
Right, Nick, you ready for them situations, brother?
Nah, man. I've been telling you. We've been having these conversations. I've been telling you I need to get some MREs about the most preparation I'm gonna do. Because if it's gas out there, that gas mask ain't gonna protect you for too long, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
we
facts.
Be out of there. Unless you got a year supply of them CO2 cartridges or whatever that is that you have to snap on the end of that gas mask. Unless you got, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to that, it's a wrap.
Better be like
biological is terrible.
Better be like The Walking Dead and have enough just to get to the most closest building. But you know, it mean like a lot of people gotta die before you walk in there, and it be like, you know, easy pickings. Anyway, I'm going somewhere way in
Hold on,
another
I got
direction.
a question real quick for y'all.
What you got, brother?
Say it is some gas stuff going on. You can't run the AC, can you?
No, you can't run none of that because all that's using that's air coming from outside.
Hey, I ain't gonna make it. It is what it is, dog. I'm just gonna give up.
Oh my God!
No, all that air is still using outside source.
Oh yeah, I ain't gonna make it. I can't be in no house.
I mean, unless I got an HVAC specialist that corrects me, I do believe we still have to use. I'm not an HVAC specialist. Matter of fact, my AC went out. That's funny. I just got my AC repaired. Last 3 days, had to sleep almost butt naked because it was getting hot in the house. Because the AC capacitor, my capacitor, I think is what it was called, went out. And then the component that was connected to that ended up going out like 2 or 3 weeks later. So AC been going out at the wrong time of the year.
Yeah, you're right. No AC. You should not use standard air conditioning or heating systems that draw in outside air.
Yeah, because if you look at your car, you ever see that symbol that has like this boomerang looking arrow? That's telling you that you're only using your inside air. So in your car, you might be safe because, but I don't know how much to guarantee that. I would still be concerned and anxious if I'm outside driving and that's going on and thinking that that's going to be legit. But that's supposedly what it's saying is doing, is using your cabin air. It's like when you're in a plane. A plane doesn't really, I believe a plane doesn't use outside air when you're on a plane. It's using what's inside. So in case Deacon Weasel's feet stink, you know, we can't take that air out in the plane.
I die.
We gonna die in there.
Bro, hey, Iran don't need this. Boy,
Deke, where you at, brother? I ain't heard you in a little minute. You doing all right, brother? I see you got where you at? Where you at, Deke? Seen you just put another
need a donation.
Yeah, he put another Weasel in the chat. But anyway, so yeah, we gonna get on into the Let's Be Frank portion of the show. And shout out to KT. Definitely an excellent topic, brother.
Yes,
and I'm praying for all of my armed service members, and just praying for the nation, man, because it's gonna get worse before it get better. As long as people understand that, then we ain't coming out here looking like the patsy. We ain't looking like the, you know, like the sheep that's out here waiting for the wolf to come, the big bag wolf to come. So, get your guns up, brothers.
Yes, prayers for the civilians in them countries going through this, man. Because it ain't all their fault. They have to be, you know, they're gonna be victims of the situation.
Yes, you're tuned in to the one and only, the Strategize Network, TSN.
And now we getting into our Let's Be Frank portion with none other than Big Frank Nick. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Let's be frank. You know, that's the only way I know how to be.
Yes, sir.
So I guess we're going to go into this. Go ahead and introduce it, and I'll go ahead and bring that video in, brother.
There we go. Yeah, so this is a video I came across where K. Michelle is visiting or a guest on the Cam Newton podcast. And she said some very interesting things about the black community, specifically about the black man and what he should be doing in order to uplift our community. So Hollywood, go ahead and play that beautiful bean footage.
All right, brother, give me just 2 seconds. You can give us a little bit more into it while you give me a little bit of time to improvise and get it going on. What did you see as the issue in this clip?
What I see as the issue is she does hit on some points, but she fails to realize that it takes two to tango. You know, everything is not going to get solved just by one party fixing themselves and the other party remains the same. You know, it has to be effort on both parts. Because I mean, when it comes to it, we're constantly, and the social media is constantly pushing the division between the black man and the black woman, and in essence, the black family. So my whole problem is keep pointing the fingers back at each other. Nobody's really doing any real work, you know. And when you can't keep saying that the black man is to blame, he's weak, he's in another man's country and can't carve out a piece for his black woman to feel safe, etc. And then on the other hand, these same black women screaming they don't need a man, they independent of a man, they don't need the protection of a black man until they getting beat up and killed and great by these white men. And that's my point of contention. You know, it's always the say throw, how the old saying go, throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's never enough. It's never enough. And it's like they don't even. It's like, in my opinion, this is anecdotal. In my opinion, from what I've been seeing and what I've been experiencing, even with my own mother and sisters and aunties, they don't value the black man. They don't see him as a natural leader.
Do you think that's based on do you think that's based on the home setting, or do you think that that's a cultural thing? And by that I mean, like, is it just are a lot of our brown-skinned people victims of the home setting, or is it deeper than that? That even the parents who fostered these type of interactions and these feelings and these disciplines and understandings, are they victims as well of it? Or is that enough to blanket it, or do we gotta just have hard love and just say that's not enough to just to wash all of that under it? Did I make sense with that?
Yeah, you make sense, but I don't think it's just one thing. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of unpacking and deep diving we have to get into, and you can probably pull about 9 different feathers out of that bird before you get to the root of the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of compiling on top of things that made it this way. So we all need therapy, bro. And like I say, with this K. Michelle chick, she's so fake. Well, she ain't got no husband. I can't really listen to somebody and especially somebody who's trying to talk to me and they haven't accomplished, or
they haven't done the work yet.
Yeah, they haven't done the work and to achieve that end goal. You know, where your husband at? Where your black family? Show me where you've treated black men with respect, regardless if they're not a Sean Puffy Combs. If it's just a regular mechanic who changing your tire, show me where you give him that respect at. And that's my main problem. They always talking about these guys who are in these rooms, these multimillionaires, and these guys are a small percentage of men. You know, what about the rest of the 80% of men who don't have these lavish lifestyles and 6 figures, etc.? You know, the 9-to-5ers. Those are the ones that are going to be the ones who, if we ever have a war, these are the men that are going to be the ones who stand up and protect the community.
Facts. You cooking over there, brother?
You don't hear that from them, though, bro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's get into it then, brother. Made some good points.
Talk to me.
I mean, hate the bitch. The Muppet.
Y'all excuse the language.
Like, I got into this game, and I came in on a show called Love and Hip Hop. I talked about my abuse and I didn't say anybody's name. There was this Muppet in the corner yapping. And even till this day, when Beyonce sent me flowers and everything,
I don't think it's the one, bro.
Yeah, I don't think it is either, brother. Let me
talked
remix this
about
one for
me
a
and
minute.
everything. When
Now,
I go through
you go back,
bookings
you
and
go back
everything,
into
it's always
give us a little bit more of background while I sort this out.
Now, I want to hear what KT got to say so far.
Man, like this topic is it's tough for me, because it's just so tough. Because I'm always gonna go with the black women, and I'm always gonna go that route, regardless of how they feel. Because that's just a minute view to me, So everybody's not a K Michelle type, but I really want to hear that clip so I can really understand. I don't want. I might
y'all give me a couple of minutes and I'll make sure I pull it up.
Yeah, because that might change my mind, so I don't want to get too crazy with it.
Yeah, no, go ahead, KT.
No, I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening. I really got to see the clip so I can make a good statement.
No, like I was going to say on the clip, she makes very valid points. I'm not saying what she said isn't valid. What I'm saying is she's pointing the finger and not putting any kind of accountability on black women, as if black men are the ones who destroyed the community alone by themselves.
No, you're right. It's hand in hand.
You got 3 generations of. Excuse me. You got.
I think I pulled it up, fellas. Right after you get finished, Frank, we'll be ready to pull it up.
You got 3 generations of, and probably even more than that if we can go back. I'm just my mind going empty, but it's 3 generations of popular female rappers telling them not to agree with us, telling them to defy us. When you have your Trinas, I'm the bad B. You got Beyonce or independent to the left, you can be replaced. And you
Scrubs.
Not Scrubs. And what's your girl name? Glorilla.
Yeah.
I'm F N-word free. You know what I'm saying? So you got all this masculine energy from these women who claim that they're least protected and they want to build with black men. But how can you build or protect something that won't listen? It won't happen.
It won't happen.
Or how you gonna be able to build that when all you're doing is doing what? Tearing it down. Let's get right into it, fellas.
Right now, black men to really step up for black women and create families. It's really not cool. Black men are attacking black women, and it's not cool. They're not creating homes. They're creating babies everywhere. It's not cool. And I'm asking you, other successful black men, you have to set an example as leads. Black women are where you come from, this and that. So there probably isn't any sympathy for you and just life happening, because there's so many other things around you going on that are not fair to black women. What is going on with the black family? I'm asking right now, black men to really step up for black women and create families. It's really not cool. Black men are attacking black women, and it's not cool. They're not creating homes. They're creating babies everywhere. It's not cool. And I'm asking you, other successful black men, you have to set an example as leads. Black women are where you come from, this and that. So there probably isn't any sympathy for you and just life happening.
So was that a good sound bite that represented what you were looking for,
yes, sir.
Frank Net?
Yes, sir. That was right on point.
Okay. So where do we pick off? Where do we pick up from this
So
point?
now since KT done heard the video, I wanna know his opinion. Do black men are black men responsible for how this community is? And do you feel that we need to start back building families with the black woman?
Absolutely not. I've been a victim of dealing with two, tried, and it didn't work. But I think I don't think it's just a black woman issue. I just think it's more. Well, I'm gonna say it is a black woman issue because it's really just a lot of women. I just feel like a lot of young people, they have kids early and they really don't know how to love each other. And I feel like you gotta have love. A lot of people just going off, oh, he swagged out, and then they end up getting pregnant, and before they really get to know that person, they can't stand them. It's vice versa, men or the women. It's vice versa. Like, I hate this woman, I hate this dude. And so then she end up trying again 2 years later with another guy flop. So you can't put that on us. Because I've been there since I tried. Even I didn't want to, I tried. And it just ain't worked. But I was young. I didn't know much about love. I tried to figure it out on the fly. Had a kid before I was ready. I tried to make it just ain't work. But I got a black family now with my the girl I'm with now. We got 2 boys together, and it worked. The third time it worked out so far. 10 years in the game, we've been down to 10 years. So it works now, but I think what's happening is a lot of black women having kids early. A lot of them ain't got the father in the house. They don't know how to treat a guy, and this is that. And then, like I said, with not having that, I didn't have my father, but I feel like not having that father aspect, even for me, it caused you to make a lot of feminine decisions. That's why it's a lot of brothers in jail, not to get off too far the subject. A lot of guys in jail are making emotional decisions.
Facts. That's not off subject, brother.
Homeboy stepped on my shoes. I ain't shot him up. For what? He drunk too. We both drunk. He just made a mistake. So it's a lot of guys in jail off the emotion without having that man factor to be able to sit back and rationalize and think about the situation. A lot of people ain't thinking twice. They just doing stuff. Even when it comes to having babies with women and sleeping unprotected, we're not thinking twice. We just doing it. A lot of us don't know better. A lot of us do, but a lot of us don't. Especially in the black community. To this day, it's still a lot of fatherless black homes, and it's 2025. I think it got worse after the 90s, but I wasn't there to experience it. But I think the late 80s and 90s, I think in the 60s and 70s, the parents, I think the women, they probably dealt with the stuff a little more. They probably just accepted because the dude used to really work, so he maybe did cheat, but he made sure the bills and everything was paid at the house. The woman, they have to work. She was able to garden and cook and take kids and do all that. While the dude work all day, so he probably got stuff out back then, but they still made it work. So let me tell you something. This stuff happened with white people. For most white people, if you notice, most white people wait till the kids get out of high school, then they divorce and start their second life. This is common with the white people. For the white people I know, a lot of white people I know they got old, they on their second wife, but their kids grown. They try to give the kids the best. The standards, this is how relationships supposed to be. Even though it may be fake, but it still gives you that, okay, you're supposed to love each other, grow old together. So
I'm glad you said that about it being fake, because just because that's just like showing up to work. Just because I clock in to work and I'm supposed to be there at 7 o'clock and I got there at 6:59, it don't mean that the moment I clocked in that I did what I was supposed to do. I just did enough. And I think that white America.
Sometimes enough is a lot, though.
Sometimes enough is more than enough. Is going to always be better than not enough. So I think if you try to parallel it with between those two factors, then of course is going to be a polarizing difference. It is a difference between enough and not enough. That's a difference between a D and a C.
Mm-hmm.
But it ain't that much better.
But I'm more curious with, is this a black American thing, or is this happening in other black nations in Africa? But that's another subject, because I don't know how their stuff is over there. I don't know if the guys, but I know they got multiple wives in some nations. But I think us coming here, we already been set behind the 8 ball. So it's like we still 400 years behind, and we still trying to catch up. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I rest my case with that. It's on you, Hollywood.
Well, we'll throw it back to Frank Nick first. What you got anything to add to that, brother? Before you want me to add into it?
Nah, yeah, let me add it because it was something KT said that set my spidey senses off.
Oh God!
He said that
spidey senses.
He said it happens in the white community as well. And then he went on to explain how it happens in the white community, which I agree. But the key word you said, though, brother, was that white folks, they get a divorce, which means they were married.
That's true. That is true. That is okay. That's good. You got me. That's good. That's a fact. That is a fact.
While we're discussing that so we can speak intelligently, look, KT says this is your subject. While I'm weighing in on it, I would like for you to round it off at what is the divorce rate for white families versus black. I think that would be a good factor so that we can speak intelligently and not just speaking out of opinion.
Well, no, we already know that the percentage of black women married are way less than white women. We
do, but it would be even greater to see what that number is, so that way that the prospective black women or even whoever else might interact with our podcast episode, that we're not just that's what journalism is about. Because right now we're speaking speculative, even though that we know that there's some meat on this bone.
I got the numbers here. I got the numbers. It say this from Travis P. Walker. According to the divorce statistics, black Americans experience 30.8 divorces per 1,000 people, while white Americans experience 15.1 divorce per 1,000 people.
Almost double.
Half.
Yeah. That's according to Travis R. Walker, PA.
So at least we see the difference in that. That's half.
And then
look how crazy that is.
And then black women are the only group with a higher divorce rate than the marriage
I was just
rate.
about to say that.
Yeah.
Crazy. Ain't that something?
And then they say black husband and white wife have a higher divorce rate compared to marriages between two white individuals. So it's like the common denominator is black. It said when it comes to interracial marriages, a black husband and a white wife have a higher divorce rate compared to marriages between two white individuals. So like the common denominator is black.
Even we was talking about that earlier before the show. Even with the Saquon Barkleys, the SGAs, the Tyler Halliburtons who have chosen to date other races.
The entire first round of the NBA draft.
To each his own.
It takes a lot to deal with a woman who has been raised by no father. It takes a lot to deal with them. It's a lot on that side.
Facts.
It's tough. They want to get in your face, want to fight, man. It get crazy.
Yep, you're absolutely right, bro.
So on my end of the spectrum, my questions would be, who raised you? We're saying about that black men and black women interaction. Who raised you? Because that's a good question, and that's something you need to unpack early on.
Facts.
And this is my second go round. I've been married. This is my second time, and I even posed that question specifically through the 3 major relationships in my life. But the next question was something that needed to come into tandem with that, which is, what is your religious preference? Because I'm gonna tell you from my perspective, if that woman does not subscribe to what I believe is the proper orientation for a man and woman that want to not only just say, yeah, I love you. I got all the mushy feelings, but I wanna build with you. Building is dynamics. That's measurements. That's materials. These things are not concepts. These things are solid. And so is the concept of creating a solid household. It ain't about feelings. It ain't about a lot of these fleeting situations. It's about what is those standards built on. And for me, I'm not religious, but I'm gonna allude to the better word, spiritual. If you don't have even when I see for some of the Muslim families in America, I don't even just say that Christians are the only ones who have a successful marriage just because they subscribe to something that I believe into. I have friends that are Muslim, and they have presented to me in more occasions than one that they still respect marriage. So if your belief in the God that you serve does not present you the fundamentals on how to not only just revere, no, that's not I want to use, that you don't just look at it as just like this pretty ornament that goes on a Christmas tree, that it needs to be effective, it needs to be useful. How do you do that? You need to have something that the man and the woman both honor, because at the time that I may not be at my best, at the time that she may not be at her best, what is going to balance that?
And what you say balancing that?
Yeah. What's going to balance that? Is it going to be because of how I treated you today? Because I may have dropped the ball. Is it going to be, that you didn't give me sex last night? Then that might drop the ball. Is it because who was dealing with the kids at a time when the other person was dealing with some other things? All those dynamics can create something that, if you don't have an origin of what is going to keep that marriage intact, because it ain't about the feelings, it ain't even about love. I've understood that better in this stage of my life. Love only gets you so far. If you don't have a set disposition on what marriage looks like for you, it's just like anything else. If you don't plan, then you plan to fail. So you need to understand what that looks like. You need to see some successful marriages. You need to see people that have dealt with your issues, because everybody's dealing with the same ones. It's just they're dealing with them at different seasons. How many of our friends can you speak of that can show that in their lifestyle? I pray that people can see that in mine, because it ain't no makeup. It ain't nothing. It ain't no fake situation. I've built into many other marriages, and that's not me bragging. I'm not saying names because that's not necessary. I'm telling you that because that's true. And it's only because they've seen me how I'm walking in my marriage. So yes. What is your religious preference? Go ahead, KT. If you got something.
So you think I'm not actually do you think being a Christian help marriages out?
Well, I believe it for me, being that you asked me specifically, I believe that Christ, that the reverence of Christ creates the perfect mindset of marriage, because it's not because nobody is a slave to it. In the Bible, it says for the men to treat your wife as Christ treated the church. So that's a charge for the man. And then it also tells the woman to respect her husband, in not the same exact words. So nonetheless, it doesn't. My point is that it calls out both parties. It doesn't just make it one-sided. When I see for other religions, it looks a lot of these women defect from those beliefs because now we're in a different generation now, to where opinions are just as strong as beliefs, and they're not the same. My opinion is not going, I don't give my opinion the same weight as I give my beliefs, because they're not the same, because I'll be able to coin it and tell you this is my opinion versus me telling you that this is what I live by.
It's opinion, okay. Because according to my source, I'm the numbers guy, and they say Christianity has the highest divorce rate in the world.
I can believe that.
I'm not gonna speak
Go
on
ahead, Frank.
Christianity. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, brother.
I say I don't speak on Christianity.
You may have to double back, brother, because your signal's getting a little choppy. So whatever you said, just run it from the beginning. If you can hear us. Oh, Frank, his signal cut out too. So I'll go back into my other portions while we're waiting for Frank Nick to get back tapped in. So my other part is the kid aspect. The kid aspect is very important. How do we see kids? I can't tell you that as much as science tells us that a penis and a vagina makes a child, how many people really thought that through, other than just the fact that happens? They didn't think about, are we trying to create a successful environment for our kids to graduate from being a child to being an adult? That to me stems back to all three of my steps. Who raised you? Because the parents are supposed to introduce these concepts, like what do you believe in, who do you believe in, and then how are we going to raise our children with that mindset? And then the third aspect, I mean, my fourth one is was their father present? I believe one of you two brought that up earlier. So it's not, I'm not recreating the wheel over here. I'm just really I'm focusing on these things because they do need to be relevant when it comes to specifically black men and women. I believe we got Frank Nick back on the line. What's up, brother?
Yeah, y'all get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh no, I was saying that to answer KT question, I don't. And then I made a little joke. I said, yeah, I ain't gonna speak on Christianity because last time I spoke on it, Hollywood ain't talked to me for a year.
Okay.
So I ain't gonna say that about that. I will say, KT, in my opinion, nothing works without structure. So if you want to use religion as a certain structure, as that structure to, build your foundation of marriage on, then that's what it is. But at the same, because like with anything, with a business, you're running a business, you're going to have rules. You need to be here at a certain time. You need to show up wearing this particular uniform. You need to do this type of duty. And when you get back, you're going to do it all over again. So that's structure. Anything that's successful has some sort of structure that it follows. And that's the same thing with a relationship. Same thing with marriage. Going to be some structure. There's wifely duties. There's husbandly duties. There's duties that we both share jointly. So it just all depends on what you want to use to have that framework to how you're going to have your marriage be followed.
Okay, that makes sense. I can understand that.
Well, I think we done rolled this one out for a minute. Is there anything you want to close with? If anything left on the table? KT, we'll wrap it up with Frank. Well, go ahead, brother, if you got something else to add.
Well, KT touched on it, but you really didn't touch on it. You went off into something that you wanted to talk about, which was marriage, and that's great. But I really want like specific answers, if I may, like to my questions. Should the black man start to go back and exclusively, build with black women and create homes with black women, even after all of the flack that we've gotten over the generations, over the 40, 50 plus years with your Jenny Jones, your Ricky Lake talk shows, your Sally Jesse Raphael's, your Oprah Winfrey's, Jerry Springer's always bashing black men. So should we now turn a blind eye or turn the other cheek and go crawling back to the black women to start creating black homes?
Yes.
Crawling back.
The blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. So say the darker the flesh. That means the deeper the root. You gotta go back.
I don't know about that crawling back situation. And you know my story. Matter of fact, both of y'all both have been in my life long enough that you've been able to witness portions of that I've been married twice, as I'm not hiding. So when you say, shouldn't black men be invested, I use that instead of crawling back. Should black men be invested to deal with black women? You know for a fact, because you done read through every chapter. KT know probably half of the chapters, but you know every chapter in my book. And both of my marriage have been with black women, and that's not been accidental. But they've also both been lined up with my religious preference too. I'm not gonna use names for that's not unnecessary. But in my first marriage, it did stain me. It stained me because I guess the generation that I'm in, because we're in between analog and digital. We're in between black men that came from saying that they were supposed to take care of everything, that now we got black women that says they don't need a man. So it is confusing. It's confusing only depending on if that black woman isn't standing on the side of what's going to preserve creating that household. So that to me, that question has layers. I am now remarried and been married now for 8 years. So there's been no accident in this. This has been my longest relationship, and I'm very happy. I got my only 2 kids with this woman. And so from a man who really was kind of against just saying, not against being with black women, period, but against saying that, that's the only protein on my plate. I my second relationship was with somebody who was not black, and trying to navigate that. Nothing wrong with that situation either, but nonetheless, as I circled back around and I was able to run into my wife, who I met on a very surface level. I met her off of the internet. I met her off of a dating website where at that time, I'm just being really honest, I was not looking for a wife initially from that. So for her to present the qualities that immediately piqued my interest, it showed me that a black woman could still fulfill my fantasies, my desires of wanting to have a successful family that is being led by me, and of course co-led with my wife. But I can't demand those things. So that's the biggest thing. I used to think that you can finesse and you can talk that game. You can dress it up and make it look good. And yeah, that can work, but that's very temporary. You're talking about spending a life with somebody. None of that little surface level stuff lasts that long, because you're going to mess up. And if that person is not in the mindset of thinking about I want a successful marriage, and they know what that looks like. They know the respect that is being given and received. I know I'm adding some layers into it, but you know me, I don't know how to answer it any better. For me, yes, I'm married to a black woman, and I've got two sons from that situation. So of course, there's no other way I can say that. Yes, I still believe that even with a high yellow Negro like myself, but people say, oh yeah, well, he looked like he Puerto Rican. I'm black. Daddy and mama both black.
You got albino like that dude, that rapper dude.
Here you go.
Belly gang.
Despite the tomfoolery, both of my parents are claim on their paperwork that they're black. So of course there was an inkling in my mind to say, yeah, you need to also keep an open mind about a black woman. Plus, my mother is black. My same situation is exactly what I came from. My father's light skinned like me, and my mother is brown skinned like my wife. I didn't expect that to have to be that way just because that's what I came from. But nonetheless, you're conditioned by what you've been around. So thankfully, again, meeting my wife in the way that we met and standing the test of time, let me put it for my son. How am I going to train my son to date is probably the better question. I don't know if I'm going to tell him about what race to date versus me telling him about finding the person that loves him, because that's more important to me. The person that loves him, and by loving him meaning that they want his leadership, they want his presence, they want to be able to support the mission that's there, the vision that's there. So to me, when you take the time to be intentional and ask those questions, then I think you'll get intentional answers. And unless you're ignoring that, then to me, I don't think that the black dynamic is going to be that important when it's more about, yeah, if you find that in a black woman, that's great.
You ain't.
But if you don't,
then
you can.
That's anecdotal.
Like that's the only way.
You can.
It's anecdotal. You lucked up, Hollywood.
I didn't luck up. I'm blessed, brother. I don't credit it. I'm blessed.
When EJ gets of age, like my son now, Caden, he's dating. He wants to start a family at 20. By the time he's 25, he wants to be married and start a family. He's dating nothing but black women, and can't find one to act right. They breaking up with him because he liking other people's posts on social media. You know what I'm saying?
That's normal though.
Strife. That's not normal. It's not normal.
Hold on.
It's not normal.
Rephrase that question. What is not normal?
No, KT said that was normal for the girl to want to break up with you because you want somebody picture on social media.
Yeah, black women like that. That's what they do.
The signal kind of chopped up. I want to make sure I heard it correctly. You're saying that Caden is waking up when he's got women that are attacking him based on his social media presence.
No. Caden was dating a young lady. Him and her, been dating for a good 2-3 months. I asked him about her the other day. Matter of fact, this is like a week ago. He was like, "Oh, nah, she ain't in the picture no more." I said, "Dang, why? I thought you liked this woman. It's a young lady." He's like, "Oh, she be spazzing. She be getting on my nerves. She always yelling at me, getting on me by liking other people's pictures, etc." Like, man, nobody don't want that headache, bro.
That's what I was saying. Is that he's getting it by waking up. I mean, I was just kind of using some environmental words. My point was that he's being he's dealing with issues about his social media presence that basically is kind of out of character based on what he's presenting to the situation. These women are taking stuff that they're seeing on surface level of what his social media presence versus what his physical presence. They're using his social media presence and giving it more weight than him being present in that relationship. Hopefully that made sense. Is that what
really,
you're saying?
No, not really.
Well,
what I'm saying is, these young women today have no guidance, especially the women in our community. They don't have any role models, etc., to look up to. The white girls got Taylor Swift. Then you're gonna see Taylor Swift with her butt out, swinging it, showing all this, saying F N-word free and all this and that. No. For instance, she presents a very feminine, classy role. When you see her, she's in a relationship with a guy who's doing something for himself. But with these black women, with the role models that they have, they don't have any that are putting out a positive image. The last one they had was Michelle Obama. And we all know how that goes. Young girls not resonating with Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they see all this toxic stuff where they watch them Love and Hip Hop. They watch them all these other different meaningless talk shows. Yeah, Love Island, meaningless talk shows, meaningless reality shows, and they mimic them. So they see the girls spaz out like Blueface and Christian Rock. All the girls was on Christian Rock. Oh yeah, I want to be like her. You had young girls knocking their teeth out so they can look like her. Like, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about in our community. You don't see that amongst the young ladies in our community. Yeah, you're going to have your outliers, but not the majority of those young women behaving that way. And this has become a topic for me because my sons are looking for black women. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I told Kaden, I said, hey, man, why don't you start looking elsewhere? Because these young ladies out here, they moving different. They don't want to be with a man and having that man be the lead over their relationship. They want to be either equal or they want to do whatever they want to do. And that's the problem.
Yeah, because you're right, because I just seen on Twitter, Glorilla said even if she got a boyfriend, she's still texting her male friend. And I'm like,
wow.
There's no hope. There's no hope. You know. It's just crazy. So these young girls think they can get a man and still keep their side pieces.
Yeah, get a man and still be single.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because they're only thinking in their singleness. And they're not thinking that men and women, even in the religious aspect, men and women are not created equal.
Mm-hmm.
Just not.
Right.
If it was the same, then 99% of women wouldn't be willing to marry a man that has had sex before marriage versus the woman that has not had sex before marriage. It's a difference. And if we speaking on religion, how many Muslims that's devout Muslims, if he finds out that woman is not a virgin,
oh my God,
that ain't happening. They're more strict on that than Christians.
That's true. That's true.
He ain't building with that.
She might get stoned.
That's a fact. Especially don't be in Saudi Arabia.
I believe.
So what's the difference for somebody like myself? Like, my biggest concern when I was grooming a woman was that, especially being a black woman, I don't want especially because I was trying to do it from home. That's another situation too. More success for me was found outside of the confinements of where I was, my social environment. When I got out of that, I was received differently. Just I could go 30 minutes away and still be received differently. because I got a whole new reputation depending on how I present myself. Not like I'm faking.
Wow.
Okay, well, can't even lie to that either. I'm be a buck. There was, when I was doing my single thing, I could have had 3 names. It could have been Johnny, could have been Benny, it could have been Lenny, could have been any of them.
What about you was Lenny? I remember Lenny.
Hey, we ain't going now. So, nonetheless, it was because of that. That was my defense mechanism, because the women I was dealing with who were black, because I'm highly attracted to my black women. But what I'm not attracted to is for you to game me, for you to exploit me, for you to use me. When I know that I got good man qualities, when I know that if you that woman that I see, that I'm willing to ride with you. But when you think that pee hole in your face is worth more than the projection of me to be able to move with you, I lose total attraction to that. Wow. And I don't feel no loyalty to that. I don't care where I met you at, because I'd have met some of the worst at church.
Oh yeah, me too. And I was in church, yep.
So,
all the freaks.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we fully unpacked that question, Frank Nick. You got anything? Did we leave anything on the table?
No, I mean, I don't want to drag along the pod. I know we're trying to keep this thing to a certain time limit. So, the moral of it, this is my last statement, is that I like I said, she made very valid points when it comes to black men needing to be leaders of the community, stepping up, etc. But we have to have something to step up for. There's no improving on one end and then the other person remaining the same and continuing to do the same thing that they're doing and expecting different results. It would never work.
You absolutely right. And you gotta understand who these these women, who they looking up to, and who the guys looking up to. They're looking up to entertainers. They're not looking up to doctors and lawyers.
Facts.
If you're looking up to Offset and Cardi B, your relationship gonna be like that. It's just bottom line.
That's a fact.
If you're looking up to Rick Ross and Tia Kill, that's how your relationship
Facts.
All women have to start looking at people who really mean. We got to stop looking at entertainers like that's all it is.
We got to stop looking at them as our role models, like you said.
Exactly. 50 Cent should not be a role model. He's a good artist, but he shouldn't be a guy. And listen, I can't even, because I look up to Tupac. He's not really a good guy you should look up to, but he meant different things. But we got to start looking at people who really changing these millionaires, these billionaires. Not Tyler Perry, but everybody, not Tyler Perry, not Diddy.
To the son to let him know, like, hey, don't do this.
Yeah, facts.
Those are bad role models. Diddy, Fat Joe, R. Kelly, and Tyler Perry do not look up to these guys because they live in a double lifestyle.
That's a fact, brother. Well, without getting too fancy, I'm going to go ahead into my segment. I think it's a good thing because it piggybacks right off of this conversation without trying to make it too long-winded. But it was a good conversation with, I believe it's No Fugazi. And it speaks to the point of, can a single mom really, can she be able to raise a man, a boy to a man? I meant to make it a little bit more eloquent, but can a black woman or any woman, but I believe because we have that more, that's more prevalent in our black communities about black women. There's just like we just had Father's Day. It disturbs my spirit to the core, knowing that even though my mother got remarried, most of my software is coming from her. She implanted who I am with my integrity at its best. Not the things I did on my own, but really my heart, the heart of who I am, that came from her. I didn't get that from my father. And then there's no knock against him. But when I go back to thinking, what were my inefficiencies that I had to figure it out on my own? And before I get too far into that, I believe that this is an excellent presentation of what can we avoid? Because every boy wants to be like his daddy to a certain point. And if it ain't because something really got messed up, I look like my father, so I've always wanted to be like him in some way, some fashion, until I figured out my own purpose. Now I got my own purpose, and it doesn't negate him, but it does allow me to not depend on saying, well, he didn't do this. He did this, didn't do that. That only gets you so far. You do have to, at a certain point, you know what your goal, what you're working towards. No parent came out with an instruction booklet. So we got to give them some grace. I give both of my parents grace. I love them both, and I know they love, and I know they love me. So that allows me to look beyond some of the things from my limited understanding of not knowing what was their programming, what was their software before they put me out there. So nonetheless, when we go back to thinking about women, can they really raise a man from being a boy?
I'll
let you answer real fast before I get into the clip, but yeah, that's where we're going into this. As a matter of fact, before we get into that, let's go into a quick video segment.
The road getting to the money, power balls with the power plays. I've been blessed to be the blessed DJs. The TSM deliver the real right to your face. Hot new topics from all different places. Strategizing, making power moves. Strategizing, making power plays. Strategizing, making power moves. Strategizing, making calculated moves. Strategizing, making power moves. Strategizing, making power plays. Strategizing, making power moves. Strategizing, play.
My head. I don't want you to bump your head. You get what I'm saying? You haven't lived the male experience. You lived a female experience, which is much different. The female experience is much privileged. It's more privileged than a man's position. You can go out. You don't have to worry about protecting and really providing. If all came to all, you can just sell your. From my standpoint, women ain't out here buying. You get what I mean? So guess what? We actually have to go out there and work. This chick is on a stripper pole. Can on a stripper pole and make bread like that? No, you're speaking about the exception. I knew y'all was going to say that. The exception. And guess what? That exception of men that actually go on a stripper pole and dance, they don't even make a fraction of the money that strippers make. So that is a lie. Even the male strippers don't make that bread. They do not make more. That is a lie. One, there is
cat. And this is coming from a dancer.
Yeah, she knows. Cat. Men make less.
I know, but I'm just saying that's cat. Maybe back like when you were dancing, but like now in today's age, like nah,
men make
cat.
less. You really think so? Listen, ladies, I'm just giving you some game because before y'all was just speaking nonsense.
Women are more free with their money when they're drinking and having a good time. It's
no. That what are you talking about? There's not a lot of women that want to go.
Don't make money stripping, dancing,
what I'm saying is,
whatever they're doing.
Do you think? Yes,
they do.
So okay. So who do you think are the buyers of? Who do you think are the consumers? Stop speaking, and listen. Think before you speak. Don't just respond. Think before you speak. Who do you think are the main consumers of sexuality, men or women? If there is men that consume sexuality, obviously the market for women to sell their sexuality is going to be much bigger than the market for men to sell their sexuality. So what I'm saying is facts. You don't have to work. You can sell and still make it. You don't never have to be a bum. Do you see homeless chicks on the street? No. If there's any homeless chick on the street, it's by choice. She don't gotta be homeless. She gotta that she can sell. Ain't got dick to sell. It ain't working. So what I'm saying, the male experience is much different than a woman experience. You live life on freaking easy mode. You don't get it. You can't raise no son. It ain't happening. You don't understand the male experience. So you speaking like, well, yeah, I can raise my son into a boy. You're not raising your son into a boy. I'm trying to wake you up and give you the reality that you ain't. So the only thing you can hope for is maybe some you can bag as a stepfather to raise that for you. And if not, you better hope that God is with your son to raise that to a man. If not, he ain't being no man. He gonna be like all of these other whips that y'all chicks complain about. Sassy boys. Oh, he's feminine. Oh, they're leading me on. They're selling me a dream. They're not being masculine and telling me the truth. He's gonna be like one of those that y'all chicks complain about. What are you talking about? You raising a boy into a boy. He will never be a man.
I have to agree with her.
And I was about to say, I'm a female that grew up without a father, and like just saying based off experience, so I could definitely vouch for that.
I agree. I have a 5-year-old myself.
I agree.
A boy. And,
She said, I agree. Now y'all all agree. Okay.
I agree.
Oh, I think that was loaded, fellas. Which one of y'all want to pick up on that before I get started? So again, the topic in that is that can a woman properly raise a boy to a man? I know he kind of threw a couple of curveballs in there, but it's still hit at the point. It's still hit on the main topic. Which one of y'all want to go first? KT, what you got, brother?
Man, that dude, he did a great job of doing that, man. I absolutely agree with him. A woman cannot raise a man. She can get a child to his teenage years, but it takes a man to raise a man, man. It's as simple as that. You know, and just like I say, being raised by a woman, man, it just brings a lot of confusion. I was raised by one. It took me about my 30s to figure out what I need to do. You know, 'cause I was that far behind. So not having that father figure or that male around, hurt it. But sometimes having the males around hurt, make things worse. So it's like it's different scenarios, but I guess we can agree that the majority of the time it helps. Sometimes you got some of them fathers or stepdads who are terrible and make you just hate, you know what I mean? But for the sake of this argument, a woman cannot raise a man. It's that simple. And the guy he did a great job of executing that. I like that.
Facts. Big Frank, what you got, brother?
Well, I realized he was talking to, some for the sake of being PG, some modern American black women. I can tell that for them to even respond saying that they think that a male stripper makes more money than a female stripper is just it's absurd. Yeah. So I knew at that point I wasn't going to be listening to anything else they had to say. But yeah, the dude Cooley, man, he don't miss. And I agree that a woman can never raise a man. Similar situations like Hollywood was speaking of before the video, and what KT just said, I too was raised by my mother and a slew of other women. I got 6 sisters, and all of my aunties, my grandma, all of them were single. None of the men in my family were around. Either died off early from AIDS. One is a raging alcoholic. The other one was off in the military. So I had no male guidance, none whatsoever. And those traits, you know what I'm saying? If you hang around a bunch of women all the time, you're going to pick up some of those traits. You're going to pick up some of that feminine energy, and you're going to carry that with you. And you're not going to realize it's wrong until you get in a room full of masculine men, or men your age group who have fathers in their lives. You're going to be like, well, dang, why he approach things this way? And why you know what I'm saying? And you're going to start to pick up on, okay, that's because I'm learning from a woman. You know what I'm saying?
That's
So,
a fact.
like you said, KT, you didn't start picking up till you was 30. I'm gonna say I ain't started really coming into my manhood as far as knowing that, okay, this is how a man should move. So I was maybe like 19, 20. And I tell this story to Hollywood all the time. You know, it's because one of my best homeboys, Gus, so he had his dad in and out of his life. But you know, he really took me up on his wing, and I thank him for that every time we talk. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. It's difficult to say that any woman can be a man, because you know you have these women out here saying, "Oh yeah, when Father's Day comes around, I'm the father too. So say Happy Father's Day to me." These are very, very
oh my God,
women that need to be, you know, excommunicated from the community, because that's problematic, and that's the reason the reason why these young boys now are so, like your boy said, they sassy. They're very feminine. They don't want to play football. They don't want to go outside. They talk feminine. I mean, like, geez, man, I seen this young boy just now when I was at the gas station. You know what I'm saying? A little dude got on these shorts all up, a booty, carrying a purse. I mean, he couldn't be no more than 14, 15 years old, man. I'm just looking at it like, God, man, this is an epidemic.
Crazy.
Yeah, and because our young black boys are so targeted, because, of course, us as black men, we're targeted. We're targeted to get us out of the picture. And they're targeting our black boys to be more feminine, more docile, more open to male-on-male sex. You know what I'm saying? It's all designed, because they, you know, not to get too off the subject, but I'm gonna say this one line, because the white man knows that his biggest fear or his biggest opposition is the black man.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that.
Thanks.
It's been calculated to first get the black man out the home. Take away the resources from the black man. Take away the community. Take away his sense of ownership. His sense of being able to provide for his family on his own, through his own work and merit, his own property, his own businesses, and having his children being raised under his thumb. They've taken away that. So they've taken the man out of the household, make the black woman more masculine, to where now she feels that she is the man and the woman, and she doesn't need no man. And now the kid is white. She has to be busy working all the time so she could pay the bill. So she's not home. She's not home in the house. So the kids are being raised by TV. Now they get all these targeted messages that the media and the so-called elites are sending to your kids, making them think that they're gay. Now they get these sex changes at 4, 5 years old, bro. It's crazy. So it's like you need a man in the household to have that structure. And this ties into what Weezo was saying about Father's Day. The father is never going to be celebrated because he is the disciplinarian. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that.
Facts.
Because when that kid grows up, if he grows up to be structured at 21, 22, he's going to realize, he or she is going to realize that, hey, it's because of my father, I'm not like this person over there pregnant at 13, 14 years old. It's because of my father that I'm not locked up for selling drugs and now, or killing somebody, now I'm doing 25 to life. And they're going to realize that. And that's why the father usually gets his praise at the funeral, because these kids or aunties or wives look around and see everything that he's accomplished, everything he's provided them for, and now they're thankful. So that's what I got to say.
Well, okay. Well, like I say, but we always got to still give our single black mothers the benefit. They only could work with what they had, you know. And
yeah, but you said it. You said that you had to find yourself. Not to cut you off, but that's not exclusive to your situation. Matter of fact, all three of us in this conversation, that's really how you and I, we click because of the work element, but also you was just 10 toes down. So it wasn't just because of the work dynamic, but that allowed the entryway for me to interact your character. Me and Frank, we interacted based on work element too. But because we were in a position where we were in a living situation where you and I, after we got off work, I see you tomorrow. That really wasn't a dynamic in the military. You could be in a dorm situation to where you're living, eating, breathing the same situation, and that creates a different dynamic.
Relationship. That's facts. That's facts.
Because now we're confiding into each other on things that may not necessarily get discussed at work when we're around a bunch of strangers that we're not comfortable of unveiling some of these facts about us. So that gave me the opportunity to bond with Frank in a way that I was not able to ever bond with anybody else. Because we were roommates in multiple situations.
Y'all was in the trenches together.
We was in the trenches on the boat. We was in the trenches in an apartment complex. We was in the trenches even in base housing. So it gave us plenty of time to unpack these type of conversations. And nonetheless, we both were mama's boys, big time. Like,
me too.
I love my mama to death, but I love my father too. But nonetheless, the difference is that I needed that father presence more than I really understood. And we were able to relate to that. And he has been part of what helped me get out of that hole. Because I still am 1 foot in and 1 foot out. That's really the truth. I'm not fully out of that hole yet because I've had to create that. Because without trying to make somebody else the blame of what wasn't and what is, because like I said, I'm beyond that. I can understand and appreciate both of my parents for their limitations. My mother tried to implement good character, and she did, even when I didn't do that. It wasn't her fault. Nonetheless, my father tried to implement those same things, but if you're not there on a day-to-day basis, that only goes so far. You need to see it walked out. And for men specifically, you can have a man telling you all these good, positive things about you. But you know what really matters is about seeing it walked out in somebody's life when things ain't going right. And they can still dialogue and unpack that and tell you, yeah, it ain't all this, it ain't all that. And be able to still have a dialogue about it. They're not hiding up under a rock somewhere because they don't know how to deal with these situations because they was raised by a mama who all she was focused on was the emotions. I treat my sons with love regardless, and I will say the same thing for my father. My father gave me, when it came to expression love, he gave me a hug, and you know, he gave me a kiss on the head. He told me he loved me, so I wasn't deprived from that. But that's only an aspect of it. So the limitation was that I didn't wake up to him on a daily basis for me to see how he's walking it out. And for men, until you see that, you're not a man yet. You think you are. And then you're going to start using all of your 20s to exhaust that until you get to hopefully your 30s and you're not in prison, or you're so underwater trying to breathe because you're drowning in all these issues that you could have been able to rise above. And that could have just been as simple as a talk, but it could have been, but it needed to be as it needed to be as expanded of, let me see you do this. I don't know all the times my sons are watching me, but I know every day they see me. So as long as I'm presenting this person to them, they're going to be able to pick and pull from that as long as I'm consistent. And a woman's consistency will never be able to bring will be able to make a man whole. Not as a mother aspect. As a wife, that's something different. But just being able to do the whole kit and caboodle and bring the kid from boys to men, it just doesn't work that way. And even if she was successful of him graduating from school and now he's out there in the world, he's still missing a component that she could never give. And he's going to have to find it himself. I heard, matter of fact, as much as I don't agree with everything that Charleston White says, I heard that this week and said it in a way that really just you couldn't deny it. It's just that. It's that, you can do so much, but you cannot. You can't make a boy into a man. You just can't. And I salute my women that are out there that's using all of their resources, all their abilities, all their heart to try to raise that son. Unfortunately, if you didn't collaborate it with a man who is just invested into that situation, unfortunately the ball's gonna drop somewhere. And your best game plan is figuring out not to stop the ball from dropping. You need to figure out how to pick it up. And I think a lot of women they overlook that. Oh, everything's okay. Even my own mother, she didn't realize it because I wasn't falling apart like a $2 shoe in front of her. She didn't realize that those conversations I didn't feel comfortable talking to a woman about. So I just kept it to myself until I had the camaraderie with the Franks, with the KTs, to be able to say, yeah, hey bro, let me be able to interface with you about what you've dealt with as a man. Because since I didn't learn it from home, my father's way hours away. He's not able to download that into me. This is back when long distance phone calls. So we surely wasn't talking every day. That's just the reality. So nonetheless, thinking about wanting to create children in a home environment dynamic to where it's not a two-parent household. That's why it took me so long to start having kids. I wish I had that same fear of making criminal mistakes, because in my 20s I would have made better decisions. But unfortunately, I'm not ashamed of them because I done been there, done that, and I'm not being trapped by those situations anymore. Those have been over a decade ago, so I'm able to talk about it and be able to not feel like I'm looking over my back like, oh, you better not talk about that, because I'm with the about to use the wrong word, but I'm with all the foolishness when somebody want to talk about that question, but that's the truth. I'm not shying away from it. I own it, and I own it because I know that my kids need to see that. They need to see daddy walking it out. They need to see daddy talking it out to them too. So anyway,
so listen, before we hang up,
what you got?
You got to remember, most of these women who having kids, they wasn't playing.
Facts.
That's like 80% of black babies. I ain't gonna say that, maybe 75% of black babies not even playing. So they just working on the fly. They just hoping that the dude will do right, but they don't want to be with that guy, and the guy don't got no. So it's really just bad. It's just bad. It's just how it's, like I said, my first one. I'll be honest, my first one, that was a one-night stand, and she got pregnant. It was nothing else. Only did it with her one time, and that's it. And we got a kid. I was drunk off that yak. But anyways, we had no connection. So off the rip, she just threw me on child support because she could. I guess she didn't trust me because she didn't know me, and I ain't know her. So I didn't even get a fair shot. And my first one, I thought my second one was my first one anyway. I thought my second child was my first kid I ever had. But the whole time I had another one. So it's a lot of variables go with it, but a lot of these black babies are born. They would they just doing a wild thing and things happen, and they didn't have the money to do the other thing, or they just wrote it out, hoping that the young boy changed. But young boys hard to change.
Well, let me ask this question. Being I know a little bit about your family dynamics about with the kids, being that you got your two sons in the situation you're in now, how much different do you believe it would be if you were not present in the household with your sons versus your daughters? Because you got other kids that's not living with you. Would that be as significant of a father not being in the household with your sons, do you think, as with your daughters?
Oh, it'll be a game. It's a game changer. If I wasn't privy to being in the house, I'd probably be in California, to be honest with you. But I'm doing the best thing I can do right now. I just don't want to tell it's just a lot of stuff. But I'm making it work the best way we do. We do the best we can do, man.
Salute, brother.
Yes, appreciate it, man.
My brother. I think men still need to be in the household, even for daughters too. I'm not even knocking that, because a woman, a daughter needs to see non-sexual energy from a man to teach her how she should be, how he needs to present love to her.
Should be treated.
It ain't always about sex, because even for a relationship, every time I give my wife a gesture of my love, it ain't for us to go in the bedroom and go make fake, practice making babies. It's not appreciated that same way, and I understand love enough to be able to portion it out that way. I give her a hug, I may grab her booty and everything else, and she knows that I'm not saying, hey, we need to get upstairs. It's just I love you, and I'm attracted to you. But now we're talking about a daughter. That's why they have father-daughter dances. I've never been to that because I don't have a daughter. But nonetheless, I appreciate and understand, because we're still in the baby making business, that we're looking to have a daughter this last time. And in the event that we do, that's going to be a brand new frontier for me. But I believe I'm equipped for it, because I understand some of the hurdles that we need to cross. She don't need my software totally to be a woman, because she has her mama there to do that. But she does need daddy to give her the cues of what not to look for in a man, and what to be secure for, that man don't need to try to provide something to you that your daddy ain't already gave. Because that's where a lot of these predator men come in and say, yeah, baby, I'll do this and that. And just as much as it's exposed for a man that ain't had a man feed into him, it's the same for a woman. She ends up having babies out of wedlock. She ends up having babies that she hasn't, like you were saying, didn't plan on being with the man, because she didn't see that 10 toes down man who told her what hard times look like and how to be able to interpret what's the best direction for her.
And I just find it crazy that we the only species responsible for a kid until they're 18. I know that's weird to say, but we the only species got to spend all the other animals, they got to do 6 months a year. Go on about your business, man. You can figure it out. We got to do for 18 years. We got to be responsible for somebody. And like I said, at the end of the day, we only can show them what we can show them. They still got to go in the wild and figure it out.
Well, that's only in Western society.
That might be true.
When we was back, living in our jungles and our tribes, it ain't go like that.
No?
Nah.
Wow. That's new to me.
In Hollywood, the test in like certain Arab communities when they do those blind marriages or whatever. Girls be like 14, 15 years old.
No way. Wow. So that's crazy though. But like, you get what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you only can do, even if you're single, got both your parents. Cause it's a lot of kids who got both parents in the church doing life in prison for murder. So at the end of the day, you only can try your best, but these kids still got to go out there in that world and figure it out. Cause we all had to do it. We all knew right from wrong. We still made some bad choices. We made some good choices, but we just been afforded the opportunity to right our wrongs. Some people can't right their wrongs when you get a murder or do some crazy wild stuff. So at the end of the day, as a parent, you only as long as you get your kids some kind of way, that's the only thing you really can do for them, man, because they still got their own mind.
See, to me, and this could probably start a whole other conversation, so I ain't gonna go too long. But to me, KT, that 18 probably isn't long enough in today's society.
It's not.
But see, because life was so simple back then, that's why you could throw a 14-year-old out there in the jungle and be like, okay, because there's only two things you really need to know: how to
facts. There we go.
Meat and how to cook, how to prepare it. No, well, actually, not even that, because your wife back home, she the one go prepare it. So how to hunt and how to protect the family. That's it.
But they was
you throwing them out there at 18. They got to know about taxes. They got to know about selective service. They got to know about if to get a job. How to do, you know what I'm saying? There's so many much things you have to be able to wear to be able to prepare your child for that they don't have the brain capacity to have all that at that age. So I'm with the child. If the child chooses to graduate high school, go off to college, I'm with the child even once they graduate from college to come back and stay with me. So they don't have to have that pressure on them.
I'm with it too.
While they're trying to build their lives as a young adult.
But at some point, let me tell you something. At some point, you got to push that baby to the wild and say, baby, figure it out. It hurts to say it like that because it sounds harsh.
Yeah,
but at some point, baby,
30-year-old living with me. I mean, they're gonna have a time limit. Like, especially if they done graduated college, they got a degree.
Well, if they doing the right thing, but if they doing the right thing, but if you got somebody who 19, they can stay home playing the game all day.
Oh nah, we ain't with that.
Exactly. So if they doing the right thing, it's room for that. But if you ain't trying to better yourself, you want to eat all the moon pies, use all the Wi-Fi up, you want to take the trash out. Hey, you gotta go out there to the wolves, man. You gotta go to the wild. Figure it out, buddy.
That's facts, bro.
If my son starts smelling like me, you gotta go, buddy.
You gotta go, dog. I love you. That's a fact. Hey, you gotta go to the wild, dog. You gotta figure it out, brother. I got 2 bells. I get you first 2 bells. The other one's on your own, buddy.
Big
That's
facts,
how I
bro.
look at it. All right.
Fellas, I don't think we left anything left on the table tonight.
That's good. I love it. That's a good one tonight, man.
Shout out to all the fellas in the house. Shout out to Frank Nitch. Shout out to Deacon Weezo. Shout out to KT. Shout out to y'all fellas in a happy late Father's Day, only not because it's late, just because that we doing the bi-weekly. And shout out to everybody who checked us out tonight. YouTube, Facebook, any way that you connected with us, just give us a shout out so we know where you came from. And shout out to my pops. He clicked in a little early. He wanted to let us know he a Vietnam vet. Pop, they may not know, but I know. And Purple Heart recipient was so we salute you.
And this was a good convo tonight, though, man. It was pretty good topics, man.
Yeah.
They're always necessary to hear, man. So hopefully we can keep this every 2 weeks, keep it up like this. I think I'm gonna do more of the international, the serious stuff. I like that. I like that lane a little bit. I like to hear from y'all guys. I like that lane. It's a little better than the music stuff for me. Because like I said, we're in the real world, man. There's real stuff going on, man.
That's a fact, brother.
We can't get too caught up in the entertainment, because the entertainment is for distraction. That's why it's $1 billion industry, because you keep it distracted while they pass the laws and go to war and stuff. And you watching the finals, they ain't passed the bill. You can't leave your driveway until after 8 a.m. in the morning. You like, when this happened? So you always gotta stay focused on the other stuff, man. Keep the entertainment to my
brother. It's a distraction. That's what it's intended to be.
That's why it's the biggest business.
While we're talking about distractions, though, the finals, we in game. We moved into game 7.
I'm with the Pacers.
Who y'all going for?
Pacers.
Yeah, I like the Pacers.
The odds are that the away team wins in a game 7
It's terrible.
with more odds better than the home team. So both of y'all going for the Pacers?
No, I'm going with the Pacers, man. I like them dog. They got the momentum.
I'm gonna be the odd man. I'm gonna go, even though I would have chose it either way. I'm gonna choose OKC. I did see Siakam do that bash on their head last night. That just was. I don't know if y'all saw that.
That was nuts. That was nuts.
That was monster, boy.
That was nuts.
Nonetheless, I'm still going with SGA.
Like I said, man, hey, football back in a couple more months, so I can talk about these Jags and these sorry Dolphins. Why y'all salute my Ravens and then my Seminoles? We played Miami earlier this year. We'll stomp them boys out too. So it's gonna be a good year.
We're gonna be trash this year, man. I ain't finna argue.
I love it. I love it.
So we like they say, the U is back.
Oh wait! You was talking about the Dolphins or the Canes?
I'm talking about all of it, baby.
Them Canes are early national championship contender.
Hey, the only thing y'all got good is Florida Panthers. That's the only championship y'all getting.
Winning NHL hockey cups. That's what y'all doing over there.
Got that boy back. Oh yeah.
Hey, I love y'all boys, man. I gotta get up out of here, man. I gotta get to sleep. I gotta get up in the AM. You heard?
Salute to y'all fellas, man.
Y'all boys be safe.
This is the Hollywood Red Show. Everybody give y'all handles where they can find y'all fellas, because they gonna want to see where y'all at during the week. KT, where they can find you at, brother?
Oh man, y'all find me on X, man. Y'all can find me on X.
What's that, a porno site?
Nah, X. Twitter X. Killuminati underscore 86.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it on the screen for y'all next week.
KT Cruz.
Yes, sir.
Frank Nick, where they can find you at, brother? Or do you want to be found? Are you like the Men in Black? You gotta do some kind of secret phone call to get to you, because I know you kind of recluse.
Yeah, he incognito. Exactly. He incognito.
You can't follow me nowhere.
Yeah, well, I would ask Deacon Weezo, but I know where you can find him. Deacon Weezo, and I think he's still using Gigolo Weezy. I guarantee you ain't gonna find nobody else using.
You find that boy on MREC TV late night. That's where you can find him.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
All right, man.
And as you know, strategizenetwork.com. Check us out every other Friday right now until we let you know something different. But right here, straight on the Strategize Network, the Hollywood Red Show. Until next time, we salute you.
Yeah, boys, get easy, man. Take it easy. Take it easy.
Right,
100.
You're tuned in to the one and only, the Strategize Network, TSN.
We strategizing today. Welcome to the network. This that Hollywood Red Show. You know it. This that Hollywood Red Show. What you doing? Tune in. Where you going? Tune in. Hey. This that Hollywood Red Show. This that Hollywood Red Show. Hey. Tune in. What you doing? Tune in. Fire. You want to hear something crazy?
You're tuned in to the one and only, the Strategize Network, TSN.